All right, guys, welcome to Boone down south. So today I'm looking to buy a crossbow. I go every year to Ohio on my bow hunt, and it's archery season right now, so I kind of just started. But got a tear in my rotator cuff on my right shoulder, and I'm right-handed. So I tried to shoot the bow after a little bit of therapy, and it's just too much pain, so I don't think I can do it when it's really cold. So I'm gonna do the crossbow thing. We're gonna pick one out and give a review on it. So stay tuned, hit that like and subscribe. So archery season's already started here, so very small selection. He does have some in some boxes, but last night I did some looking up on what I thought might like to get. I looked at the Wicked Ridge M-370. So he's got one of those in a box. We're gonna take a look at that in a few minutes. Hey guys, I ended up with the Wicked Ridge M-370. When it's cocked, it's 9.5 inches axle to axle, so it's pretty narrow. It's a mid price point crossbow. So shot it a couple times in the range of Cabela's here. We're gonna take it home and put it through the works and give you a review on this thing. Stay tuned. Okay, got the Wicked Ridge M370 that I bought at Cabela's today. And I got a target set up down here at 20 yards. We're gonna start shooting this a little bit, try it out. I've already went through the owner's manual, lubed everything down. Had to wait a little bit because I had 6 deer out at the Moultrie feeder tonight and had to wait for them to drift off. I don't wanna spook them. It is archery season here. So again, ripped the rotator cuff there, so I had to go crossbow route this year. So take a couple shots, test this thing out, see how it goes. Where'd it hit? Did it hit in the top of that target? Can y'all go down there and look?
Your feathers came off or something.
Show me where it's at.
Your arrow broke.
Yeah, your arrow broke. Because, Dad, you hit this. And that snapped your arrow.
Small one.
The face of a broken man.
Okay, so shot it twice at Cabela's, and supposedly this is dead on at 20 yards out of the box. So I got my target 20 yards. I used my rangefinder to check it. I got a crossbow target, and I got a bigger archery bag target behind it just in case. First arrow, I was aiming at a black dot down there that's about 3 inches below the top rim of the target, which has a frame on the crossbow target. And the arrow hit into the frame and the arrow broke. So it was not dead on or close to it. It was, looks like about 4 inches off. So I'm gonna take another shot. I'm gonna aim a little lower. You're gonna see, but the claim of it being dead on out of the box, not true with this one anyway. So we'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna aim for the center of the red this time, so I've got some room so it won't break if it hits the edge. Wow, this is way off. Way off. Okay, so second shot. If I'm aiming, it's gonna be reversed, but if I'm aiming here, the arrow is way up here. So we're talking like 6 inches left and 4 inches up maybe, which is why the first arrow went in the totally wrong spot. So we're gonna shoot one more to see if it's going to the same spot again, and then we'll start adjusting the scope. So that's the game plan. Okay, a few things about quality control. Just pulling on an arrow here, the foam already come out of the quiver, so that just needs to be glued in. It's nowhere near dead on, and I'm having to make a lot of adjustments. I can't tell you how many clicks I've already gone. It's moving very little coming down. I'm making some progress getting over to the right, but you know, I'm doing 4 clicks as an inch as a guideline, and I'm nowhere near getting it over yet. Nowhere near being on, nowhere near being able to go out and shoot with it until I'm ready. So gonna keep working on trying to get this thing adjusted, and hopefully we can get it sighted in. I'm gonna see how many cranks this thing takes to get this fully cocked with the accu-draw. I do like the accu-draw feature of it, especially with torn rotator cuff. How many clicks it takes to get this thing cocked? You ready here? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 cranks to get that cocked. Yeah, so last night I got that Wicked Ridge. It was not sighting at 20 yards at all last night like they claim. But I spent about 30-45 minutes. My kids were helping me. Got it sighted in 20 yards. It's not perfect, but I gotta fine tune it. But anyway, I wanted to try it out this morning. And this doe was, I mean, first thing, it wasn't even daylight yet, and the doe's down there feeding. And so I watched her for like 20 minutes. It got light enough, and she seemed to be healthy size for South Carolina here. And we got too many does on this property, so I thought, what a way to try this out. You can't unload these things without shooting them. So I unloaded. Good way to test out this new Wicked Ridge. So we're gonna get down in a minute, see what it looks like, see how well that rage did, and see how true the aim was. All right, take a look. Alright, got blood right here. Definitely got a pass through. It's exactly what we want. It's gonna be hard to find blood through this stuff though. I'm gonna come in from a different angle this time because I think I see her right there. She's laying right there. She didn't go 15 yards, folks. 15 yards. There we go. She was downhill from me. That's the entry wound. Exits on the other side. All right, meat in the freezer, baby. Meat in the freezer. Awesome, thank you, Lord. Okay, so when I got this crossbow, like I told you, it was not sighted at 20 yards. It was way off. So I got it sighted in from a tree stand I just set up here at the house to get within, you know, 1.5 inches, which would be good for 20 yards, and that's my only shot I had. And so the next day I killed a deer with it, so it worked well. But now I'm trying to get it sighted in, fine-tuned, and I want to actually shoot out and then take it all the way out to 50 yards like the scope reflects, and see if I can do that. And once you're on at 20, you're supposed to be good all the way out. So that's what I'm doing now, trying to pinpoint 20 now so that it's more accurate as I shoot farther. So got it on the bench vise here, or the gun rest here, and that's what we're doing. Okay, so far I'm really liking this Wicked Ridge M-370. I've got one gripe so far about it, and that is the retention bar right here, because it's got enough wiggle to it that it can wiggle a little bit if I want, you know, if I can move it, and it'll move on me on these shots. In between shots, I notice it's drifting on me, and from what I understand, in order to try to tighten that up, you got to take the whole scope assembly off and everything else. The guy at Cabela's, I asked him about it, and he said, flip it upside down and put a dab of super glue on either side of where this touches here, and it should stop the movement going back and forth. But he did say that this was one of the weak spots on this deer crossbow. So that's the only gripe I got so far. So we're gonna start shooting out some longer ranges. I think 20 is pretty close to being decent. So we're gonna move on out, do some further ranges. Of course, we've already put it through the test on a deer, so that was good. Let's see what happens. Okay, these are the 10-point Pro Elite 400 bolts that came with the crossbow. I ended up buying, there's 3 of them that came with. I bought another 3-pack. But one thing I've noticed about these, I think they call them the accu-knocks. This bow requires the accu-knocks, okay? There's this regular flavor, and there's a lighted accu-knock. I think it's called accu-knock light or bright or something like that. But anyway, what I've noticed is after the shots, this piece comes a little loose here. It kind of snaps in place. And so it's easy for that to get loose. So keep an eye on that. You definitely want to have this little notch on your main cock feather. Okay, that's going to be the feather that's going to go in a slot in your barrel. So that'll go down like that, but make sure that notch is lined up with that one. But they do, like, I come out after I shoot them, it'll be loose a little bit. So just make sure you tighten it up after the shot. Okay, so I got it at Cabela's. They set it all up for me. And now that I'm looking at it like this, and I'm looking through the scope, my limbs are like this, the bars on the scope are like this. So I've got to loosen up that scope, turn it a little bit to get it tightened. So something to check on when somebody else is installing it for you. But I thought that was the case early on, but I didn't confirm it till right now. So a little bit more I'll have to do. Okay guys, so just want to give you the wrap up on this Wicked Ridge M-370. I bought it 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. I've been shooting it about every day. And all the YouTube videos I've seen on there are pretty much the manufacturer and all these archery shops that just mimic the manufacturer, you know, the high points, and tell you how great it is. So, yeah, I'm gonna give you a personal perspective. I've already killed 1 deer with it. That was within 24 hours of purchasing it, so that was awesome. Here's what I like about it. It's sleek, it's narrow, I like that. I love how big the handguard is for safety, because you can't be too careful with these crossbows. It does have an anti-dry fire device on here. It will not fire if there's not an arrow in here, and you can see the lever move as you slide the arrow into it. I like that. Safety's good. Safety's a little noisy. It's a little bit loud click, you know, so you got to do it really slow to do it quiet, especially when deer's, you know, 10 yards away. And that deer I shot earlier, or almost 2 weeks ago, was probably about 10, 12 yards, and so I had to be real quiet on it, but you can do it. I wish it was a little quieter. That was a little bit negative, but the scope, I like the scope. But my shooting using the factory Pro Elite 400 arrows with field points, I was shooting at 20 it's on, at 30 it's on. Once I get to 40, I feel like it starts to drop off. Not much, about 1 inch. And then at 50, it's down about 1.5 inches. So it's not quite dead on once you're at 20, and at least my setup's not. I have kept the rails lubed, I've kept the strings waxed when I've been shooting, but 1.5 is still in the boiler room at 50 yards. So, you know, so I'm okay with that. And quite honestly, like I said, I've been a compound bow shooter my whole life. And, you know, I know a lot of guys can talk about these long shots. In open fields, that's great. In a wooded environment, which is normally where I hunt, a 50-yard shot, honestly, somebody my age, you know, past 30 yards, you don't see the little twigs and whatnot that's out there. So a 50-yard shot, for me, is kind of tough in the woods. I don't even know if I would take that. Not that the bow can't handle it. For me personally, it's a personal issue. But in my experience of all my compound bow shooting in the woods, I always shoot an arrow before I get out of the tree in the morning hunt, and I'll pick a leaf or something, and every now and then my arrow will deflect this because some branch or a little twig or something that I didn't see, and so that'll affect the flight, wound an animal. So I'd have to know it's a real clear shot to shoot any further than that. But the bows, this crossbow is capable of it, so I feel good about that. The scope is nice with the scope covers that came with it. This 10-point scope, I do like that. It was advertised that it was on at 20 yards out of the box. Mine was not. It might have been the setup that was done. It was way off though. In fact, my first arrow, I broke it. So, but I drilled it in. Like I said, I drilled it in that first night, got it close to 20 yards, and went and killed that deer the next morning. So that was excellent. I like the lightweight factor. That's one of the big things with this bow. I think it's been touted as the lightest crossbow there is right now on the market. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what I saw. So I do like the accu-draw. This is really nice. I really like this. It takes away all the issues of pulling up the string. First of all, torn rotator cuff, right? So I don't want to be pulling that up. That's hard to do in a tree stand. This you can do in the tree stand, so it's great. The handle for the accu-draw fits right down in here, in the bottom of the stock like that, and locks into place. Doesn't rattle, doesn't make any noise when it's locked into place down there. It's awesome. So you can pull it out, pull it down, goes right on there to turn it. It did, I will tell you, that this handle was squeaking eek, 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 when I was turning it. That'd be bad if you had to take a second shot, and that is possible with a crossbow. But I put a little oil on that and took that squeak right out of there. So that's great. But it's easy in, easy out right here in the handle. Very tight, doesn't rattle or anything. I love how this is pretty tight integrated here with the accu-draw. It's a good fit, feels good to me. And again, crossbow and like a compound bow even is a personal thing. It's got to fit you. Rifles have to fit you. So this fits me well. I like it. The only other negative I have about this, again, I've already mentioned this, is the retainer clip. It wants to move a little bit. After a few shots, it starts moving to the right. I am going to try the super glue trick that the guy Cabela's told me about, see if that works for it, see if we can do that. Other than that, I'm very happy with this, and it's actually now it's muzzleloader season in South Carolina, so I've got to the 10th is into muzzleloader, so I'm going to be hunting with this through muzzleloader season and probably into rifle season too, just because I enjoy this much more than a rifle myself. We'll be taking this to Ohio in November. I'll be heading up there. Hopefully we're gonna time the rut just right, farm we're gonna be hunting. So I will have this with me, and I feel confident right now that it will be able to take an animal if I'm taking this with me to Ohio. So that's the game plan. Overall, I am very happy with this crossbow. I give it a thumbs up. So if you're looking for something in the mid-range, this is a very nice crossbow. It's got a lot of nice features. It's lightweight, plenty fast enough. I know there's faster ones, but speed's not everything. Accuracy is what kills, not speed. It's accurate. I feel good about it. Just about everything about it. There's a few negatives, and they're very minor. So very happy with it. Recommend it. Check it out. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.